Today we discussed order of operations and integers. And so our worksheet asks for us to simplify. And the very key thing for us to remember, you should have learned last year, was PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And you also need to remember that multiplication and division and addition and subtraction are on the same level. This order of operations doesn't mean that you do multiplication before you do division. While that is true for parentheses and exponents, multiplication and division share equal value, I guess you could say. And so if you have a problem that requests multiplication and division, like number 3, you simply work from left to right. You don't work through the problem and look for the multiplication portion, do that first and then do the division. But rather, it is a left to right problem. And the same is true for addition and subtraction. If you have an addition and subtraction problem, that has a problem that has both signs in it, you work from the left to the right. We're going to look at a couple of these examples. So 11 minus 4 times 3. Our order of operations would quantify multiplication and division before addition and subtraction. So we would do 4 times 3 as our first operation. And 4 times 3 is 12. Remember to bring down the rest of the expression. So now we have 11 minus 12 equals negative 1. Let's look at problem number 4. Problem number 4 has 5 times the sum of negative 4 plus 1. And our order of operations here would be parentheses come first. So we want to simplify everything in that parentheses. Negative 4 plus 1. That would equal negative 3. So now I can rewrite my expression, negative 5 times negative 3. And a negative times a negative would be positive. 5 times 3 is 15. So our solution is positive 15. Now looking at one more problem, 6 squared times negative 12. The first step for this problem would be to figure out what our exponent simplifies to. So 6 squared is the same as 6 times 6. And that would be 36 times negative 12. I'll let you work the rest of that out on your homework tonight. We also did a little bit of an error analysis in class. And error analysis is basically looking at a problem that's already done and trying to figure out where the intentional mistake was. So a problem like our first one. Negative 50 divided by 5 times 2. The work shows step 2 as negative 50 divided by 10, which means the individual multiplied 5 times 2. Well, that's not consistent with our order of operations because our order of operations says to move from left to right. So the first step should have been negative 50 divided by 5. And 5 goes into 50 10 times, so that would have been negative 10. Now we replace negative 10 for the part of the expression that we just solved. So negative 10 times 2. Now we have a negative times a positive. Our solution will be negative. 10 times 2 is 20. So our solution for that problem should have been negative 20. And now you can see the importance of the order of operations because they got a completely different answer than what they should have by following proper order of operations. Hopefully you can figure out the rest of these this evening by paying careful attention to the proper order of operations. And this will really be a good strategy to remember for even when you're taking your test. After you've completed a problem, go back and critique it using some of the strategies we've done with order of operations today in class. And ask yourself, did I follow all the correct procedures? And then check to make sure you did and make sure that you got a correct solution. Have a good evening.